The other thing that was kept very quiet was that USC is now joining the Big Ten, which is like absolutely insane. So like you can't do like, hiring Lincoln Riley is like, okay, just drop it, like walk away, and like, this is the best news you're gonna get for like 5 years. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, USC is joining the Big Ten, and I've been a proponent of USC kind of pushing their weight around for a long time. They just haven't acted like USC. When you know, Larry Scott came in as the Pac-12 commissioner, he was pushing parity across the board, where the SEC is not pushing parity. They want to push Alabama forward. The Big Ten wants to push Ohio State forward. That didn't happen in the Pac-12. You know, when the sanctions hit, they weren't really supportive of USC. And I didn't think you needed to leave the Pac-12, but I thought you always should explore the options of going independent, which doesn't seem to be the right way to go now, or joining a bigger conference and just threatening that, just saying like, hey, we can do this. Then the commissioner or whoever was at the Pac-12 running it would be like, okay, you're gonna get a bigger slice of the pie. You don't make as much as money. You know, Oregon State's not gonna make as much as you, and all that kind of stuff. And it was absolutely insane. If you read the War Room, we kind of talked about this a little bit back in April. That it was some of the Big Ten people were mentioning that USC was looking to get out, and I didn't necessarily believe it at the time. We just kind of put it in there to share it. And it obviously was true. And the fact, I think UCLA is probably the best partner, just to make the logistics a little bit easier to go, to go to the Big Ten, and you have kind of a partner in Los Angeles. But we're going to know in the next couple of weeks, and none of us, we're not getting any of this money that's coming in, but it's going to be, it's going to be so different. If you wanted to play in the world of the Georgias and Ohio States and Alabamas, I don't think it was going to be feasible to continue to do that in the Pac-12. Money's going to be, we're seeing it be so much more important in the college football landscape. I know a lot of people don't like it, but that's the reality. And if USC is making like $30 million a year in the Pac-12 in their media rights, and we're going to find out this Big Ten thing, and it might be north of $100 million a year. Like, people were kind of, as 77, and now the numbers we're hearing are even bigger than that they brought in USC and UCLA. They're going to have, it's going to be so significant. They're going to be the richest conference, out there, and the SEC is right up there with them. But make no mistake about it, there's going to be two power conferences, and the fact that USC is in one of them, it's not just about the money, but you're in the right place, And I think when you're playing, I love the traditions, and going up to, the Palouse and going to the Coug and Washington State, like all that stuff is cool. But it's good, like the equivalent game there would be like versus Iowa, where you're going to have like 50,000 more fans who care about that game, from the Iowa side than they would at Washington State. I think it's going to change the game significantly and financially, just to be able to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know where it's going, but money is definitely going to be involved more. We'll kind of talk about some NIL stuff later. But I feel like it was, if you really care about USC football, is it going to suck to not have the weekender trips and stuff anymore? If that goes away? Yeah, there's things that you're going to lose. But I feel like if you really want to take this seriously and try to be like Sean Cody's teams were, and like really being the class of the nation, I don't think it was going to, in my opinion, wasn't going to be feasible in the Pac-12 the way things were going. And I like George Kliavkoff, the new commissioner. I felt like he was dealt a pretty bad hand. But this, there's tough. Larry Scott screwed things up. But a lot of it came from the presidents too. The presidents kind of enabled him to be in the place that he was, and really, early on, it was so funny. Like, if you guys were around the athletic department, like when Lynn Swan was the athletic director, like I talked to people that worked in the athletic department that he wouldn't even talk to people that worked for him. He sort of had this like ivory tower mentality. Larry Scott was the same way with the Pac-12, where he didn't even talk to the athletic directors. He's like, the presidents are my bosses. He talked to them. And then later in his tenure, when he realized like he was going to be on his way out, he started reaching out to the athletic directors, but it was too little too late.